So we're the Holloways, and our mission is to make disciples who love God and love people.
To me personally, generosity would mean giving out of, not necessarily out of abundance, but maybe even when it hurts a little bit. Or sacrificial giving. I actually have a close friend of mine who, whatever hurricane hit a year and a half ago roughly, she and her boyfriend are living down in Grand Isle, Louisiana. And he lost like everything, and she had some issues with her where she was living too. There was a lot of flooding and stuff, but like she spent her whole month that she was off of work with the flooding and the weather, driving up and down Mississippi and Louisiana, getting supplies from Mississippi and taking them back down there. And she has a little Prius, so she wasn't, really best equipped to be going up in these floodwaters, but she spent all of her time and resources and money, helping other people and putting others first.
And then just even on a small level, something we witnessed recently, it was not long after my mom had had a major surgery and it was pretty frail. And then we had just had our baby and we were trying to all go out as a family, the three of us plus my parents, and we were at a local restaurant. It was a struggle with the baby there, and then just my parents going into the restaurant. And obviously we were taking a little bit more time than some of the other people. And by the time we got up to the register, the cashier just said, "No, your meal's already paid for." Somebody with a very tender heart had noticed, and they didn't know anything about our story, about what we had gone through. They didn't know how old our baby was or how sick my mom had been, but they just knew, hey, these people look like they could maybe use some cheering up, or it's a rough bit of time for them, and it just, we're very generous. It touched all of us. We're called to give, we're called to be supporters of the church and our communities, but we're not called to do it in one way and one way only. Obviously, being generous with our financial blessings is very important. There's good biblical precedent for that, and we should be good stewards of that, but we're told to bring a portion of all that we have into the storehouse. And I don't just have money, I have time, I have emotions, I have a house, I have friends, I have community. So we bring a portion of all of that into the storehouse. It doesn't matter where you are or what you have, you just need to bring it and let it be used.
And even if it is money that you're giving, just because you can't give a lot doesn't mean you don't give it all. You give, even a little bit is better than nothing.
So I started tithing as a child. You get your couple dollars of allowance for the week, and the church I was going to had these little blue plastic piggy banks shaped like a church. And you would put your tithe, your coins for that week into the piggy bank, and then bring it to Sunday school with you. So it just became a habit of, money comes in, a portion is set aside for a tithe. Tithing for me has been a great exercise in fiscal responsibility. If I tithe, that means I'm looking at my resources. It means I know what I have. I can better manage the household finances and goals and savings. That awareness has been a great benefit, but just simply making it a habit. That started young for me. Through college, it was not something I did. I was more worried about having money for trips and food. It just fell out of priority. But after college, said, well, this is something I haven't done in a while. This is something that is important. And setting that framework for habitual giving.
And just prayer is a big part of it too, like knowing that if you are giving that, God is going to provide for you, and that you're going to still be able to afford food and whatever you got to pay for, because things cost money. So
Right.
It's a big trust thing with God too, and trusting what He's already given you, and then trusting Him to provide back, I guess.
And we even see that, like the widow woman, if she trusted Jesus so much that she gave those few coins that she had, and those were so precious to her, we can at least give a portion. So it really does boil down to trust, that this is the first thing out. I'm going to do what I need to do to budget and make sure my family's taken care of, but there is that trust that I'm going to give God what's God's, and I'm going to be faithful, and He will be faithful.